Et salut les gens. Et aujourd'hui nous sommes sur Star Trek Resurgence. On est parti pour une
Captain's
aventure
log,
narrative.
Stardate 57931.4. The crew is restless. After spending too many months piecing our ship back together, we're finally about to venture out on a new mission. And the crew isn't letting this unprecedented ion storm slow them down. They're ready for something different. I know I am. Perhaps more than any of them.
Alors c'est un petit double
Fortunately,
A
nothing ever stays the same.
pour une petite
It's
précision.
entropy, the nature of the universe. Change is inevitable. And while entropy says order gives way to chaos, in this case, change is good.
Donc nous aurons un vaisseau l'entropie. On jouera un personnage, de ce que j'ai
Our
compris,
new first officer
féminin
is en route to the
pour
Resurgence,
commencer.
Jara Rydek. I know she'll bring a welcome dose of new blood to the crew.
Avec des choix narratifs. Alors, je répète, hein, vraiment, ça va être un jeu axé sur ça. On est sur un tel game, entre guillemets, pour ceux qui connaissent un petit peu le genre, mais on est un petit peu plus poussé.
Thanks.
No problem.
On est un petit peu plus joli aussi.
I'm not great with flying. But these little shuttles are the worst.
Stick around in Starfleet and you'll be sure to see worse than this. I have.
And you're here to talk about it.
In the flesh.
That's good. Sorry, I'm a little anxious.
I hadn't noticed.
I'm on my way to my first assignment. When we get to the starbase, I'm transferring on to the Resolute.
So am I.
Donc, le jeu a peu de campagne marketing. Donc on va voir un petit peu ce que ça donne. Je serais assez curieux. Je vais être assez cru, on va dire. Est-ce que ça sera un bon jeu? Est-ce que ce sera un très mauvais jeu pour le genre? Après c'est un genre à part, donc on va rester dans la lignée qu'on sait déjà de base que c'est un jeu qui sera pas axé action. Les commandes, tout ça seront ultra simplistes. D'ailleurs, ça fait trop longtemps que je n'ai pas vu un jeu sur PC où il n'y a quasiment aucune option graphique. En gros, vous lancez le jeu et basta. Vous pouvez juste modifier le son. Vous ne pouvez pas rebind vos touches. Donc sachez-le, le jeu est en QWERTY. Il n'est même pas en AZERTY. Donc ça c'est un des points noirs. On remarque que ce n'est pas de la motion capture également. Donc on est sur du script. Mais bon, ça peut être cool. En vrai, on va dire les choses. Pour l'instant, c'est du double A. Mais ça peut être cool, hein. En vrai, ça peut être vraiment chouette. Faudra voir, hein, de toute façon. Allez, commencer. Hop. On a des textures, on est à mi-chemin entre du cartoon et ça, je dirais pas que c'est du cartoon. C'est une patte assez qui est très proche de ce qu'on doit avoir sur un jeu Star Trek. Donc c'est plutôt cool. Ça a l'air d'être dans la mid-gen au niveau de la.
I'm not usually such a nervous wreck, by the way. I actually did well at the academy.
Oh yeah?
Maybe
La
you've heard of
chronologie
the Torvalin
des Star
test?
Trek.
Sounds familiar.
It's a tactical simulator that makes the Kobayashi Maru look like a picnic on Pintaris 5. Anyway, I finished in the top 20. Not just in my class, I mean all time, in the history of the Academy. So, there's that.
Simulations are great for training, but they're not quite the same as the real thing.
That's fair. I guess I'm about to find out.
Please place your hand here. Hold it there for a few seconds.
Donc on va découvrir un petit peu les commandes. Assez classiques, hein, très rudimentaires. Alors j'ai évoqué tous les points noirs. Hein. Maintenant on va évoquer un petit peu les...
Wait,
On va voir
you're
un petit peu
Jara
ce
Ryder?
tutoriel.
You
Et
absolutely
les points
crushed the
positifs. Hein.
Trevelyan test. You finished in what, like the top 3?
That would be me.
Now I'm really... It's an honor to meet you, Commander. Sorry, I didn't realize before. I just came off the shuttle and was glad to be on solid ground.
The pleasure is mine.
On va rester humble.
Ensign,
Paul Calloway.
good to meet you.
I believe Commander Ermot is expecting you. He's in the concourse just ahead.
See you on the Resolute.
Donc, est-ce qu'on va jouer commandant? Je ne suis pas sûr. Alors, il y a des petits ralentis, apparemment. Non, en fait, c'est moi. C'est moi.
Good day, Commander.
Oh. Ça, j'aime beaucoup. Et d'être salué.
If I remember my briefing, Commander Ermot.
Donc regardons un petit peu. Ah oui, d'accord, ok. Ça, c'est tous les personnages. On a Jara. Donc ça, c'est notre personnage actuellement. Et on aura Carter. Donc il y aura possiblement 2 personnages qu'on va pouvoir commander. Évidemment, on aura des phases de FPS. Ou plutôt de TPS. Il y aura des phases d'infiltration aussi. Des phases de scan. Des phases de vaisseau. La téléportation, ok. Bon. Je joue au clavier souris, hein. Je pourrais jouer à la
So I'm
manette.
looking for someone with blue skin.
Alors, voilà. Allez, voilà.
Are you alright?
Yeah, I'm just... Well, I'm not sure where my departure dock is. The Resolute's gonna leave without me.
Look here. The Resolute is leaving from this dock.
Ah, you're right. Nerves must be getting to me. Thanks so much, Commander.
J'aurais peut-être dû le prendre, mais bon.
Starbase 128 has 4 docks. I'll replicate myself a meal once I'm on board. Excuse me.
Welcome to the edge of the galaxy, Commander Rydek. I'm Commander Jan Ermot, Operations Officer on the Resolute. Commander? I hope there wasn't too much trouble getting here. This storm isn't making anything easy for us right now. I know conditions are less than ideal at the moment.
It takes more than a little turbulence to rattle me.
I'm sure that's the case.
Bon, la partie à Starfleet, hein, donc on est résolu.
We're grateful you were able to come fill our first officer.
On sera aussi un petit peu
vacancy
porté
at such
sur
short notice.
le second
From everything
degré.
I've read and everything I've heard, we're lucky you were available to us. Coming from a premier starship and all. To our little research vessel.
I'll do my best to live up to expectations.
Well, I'm sure you'll do just fine. And if I can help in any way, just let me know.
Je m'attendais à pire au niveau des animations faciales et en fait c'est plus que correct. C'est pas dingue, c'est pas transcendant, mais ça peut le faire. Évidemment, le Resolute.
The USS
Plutôt-
Resolute.
Plutôt chouette, on va dire.
She may not look like much compared to the bigger ships, but as far as science vessels go, she can more than hold her own. And she
C'est
doesn't
un
look
vaisseau
so bad
scientifique.
considering 6 months ago she was nearly cracked in half, venting plasma, fighting for her life.
It was an accident?
Equipment malfunction. An accident suggests fault, but no one's to blame. It was a planned test, but the warp core was pushed beyond its limits. It destabilized the dilithium, there was a runaway reaction, and the warp bubble deformed. We thought we could reach a higher resonant frequency, but it was more than she could handle. Cost us our first officer and 22 of our crew. At the end of the day, we're all responsible for each other. That's what it means to be a crew.
I can't even begin to imagine what that must have been like for you. I'm so sorry for your loss.
Thank you. It does weigh heavy. There are some things you can't forget.
It's been 6 months. What's the attitude among the crew now?
Unsettled. But I hope that a new mission will help them move forward. If not, move on. Listen. I realize you've known Captain Solano for quite some time. And I'm glad you're ready to bring your best. But I should warn you that when the captain announced you would be the new first officer, there were those who felt it was a mistake, that he should have promoted from within. So you might want to tread lightly at first. Until they come to value your contributions as much as he does.
Thank you. Always good to have a sense for what you're walking into.
I just thought you ought to know.
I appreciate it.
Starfleet has assigned us a high-priority mission to the Hotari region. I'll let the captain brief you on board.
Ok, Jira fait forte impression auprès du commandant. Ah, d'accord, ok. C'est pas mal, c'est pas mal. En vrai, c'est pas mal du tout. Donc en gros, il y aura 10 personnages. Ou alors c'est peut-être par chapitre. Ou... Je sais pas du tout comment on va digérer le jeu en franchise.
Will we be mission ready in time?
We have every intention. The crew has been working around the clock to get the ship ready. There's still so much to do.
Stuck.
Bon, là par contre je dois avouer que le visage est... On dirait un jeu de 2010. Clé de module, bobine en phasée... Bon, attends, ça passe pas. On va essayer. Attends. Ouais, ça a l'air... Ça a l'air plus que correct.
That.
I thought the thing was totally fried.
La DA aide beaucoup.
Nice work, Carter.
Avec les lacunes qu'a le moteur, on sent qu'ils n'avaient pas vraiment beaucoup de budget.
And not a moment too soon. The boss wants us down in engineering, like now.
Et du coup, ça rend plutôt bien. Ouais, le personnage, par contre, honnêtement, l'alien qu'on a eu avant et un visage qui est plutôt agréable, mais alors lui, franchement, il fait humain, humain de seconde zone. Pas ça. Sonde.
Come on.
Ah d'accord, ok. Ça c'est pas mal ça.
Oh, these are heavier than they look. Makes more sense than zero G.
Carter Diaz.
You're welcome.
Vas-y, attends, on va tous les mettre.
And you know what? Not half bad.
Bon.
Engineering.
I heard the new XO just arrived. Won't be long before we get underway. I just hope whatever Chovak called us down for, it's something good. I can never tell with him. I'd rather not end up degaussing plasma manifolds. Hanging upside down makes me queasy.
Orders are orders, Nelly. You know what they say? There are no small missions. Every expedition has a purpose.
Even if we don't know what it is yet. Looks like we got here before.
Lieutenant Commander Chovak.
We were just looking for you, Commander.
Petty officers Epsilar, Diaz. I was beginning to think you would be late. We are all hands on deck right now, which means if you are not at your post at the appointed time, I do not have someone to replace you. A point I have been forced to make to Petty Officer Epsilar on repeated occasions.
So you're saying we're irreplaceable, Commander?
That is one interpretation. Another would be that I would replace you if I could. You can interpret as you see fit.
So, I don't suppose you wanted us down here to check in before we go off duty?
Equip yourselves in EV suits to work on the exterior of the hull. I need you to tune the structural integrity field for optimal performance. The subspace distortions and ionic interference we are experiencing are preventing the proper calibration. But this ship must be ready to depart shortly, despite the storm. The precise nature of these disturbances are not fully understood. But many systems have been affected by the wide band of emissive activity.
How concerned should we be about the storm? Are you worried?
Vulcans do not worry. We calculate the variables and take appropriate precautions to mitigate the risk. Right now, that entails making critical preparations, because long-range sensors show that these disturbances will be more severe at our destination, the Hotari system. You have your orders. Do not delay.
Yes,
Roger
Commander
that.
Chovak. All
Sympa.
hands on deck.
Oh, what's that?
All hands on deck. That's what Chovak said. You know what that means? It means this ship isn't ready to go out and the brass know
C'est
it.
marrant, le visage de mon personnage me rappelle un petit peu Mass Effect Andromeda.
And they're going to leave on schedule. Consequences be damned.
It all comes down to us, Nelly. We're the ones who will get it ready.
I know what we can do. But this isn't just any old refit or any old relaunch.
Oh, whoa. Excuse me.
A lot of new faces coming on board. It's gotta be tough coming as a replacement. That's for sure.
They seem all right. Something that happened 6 months ago while they were off on another ship? Well, that's nothing to hold against them.
Yeah, you're right. I guess getting a little new blood on board doesn't hurt.
Autant elle a un visage qui est plutôt propre, on va dire.
Hold on.
Donc il y a des personnages secondaires qui ont un visage qui est propre et d'autres qui ont un visage qui est totalement discutable, on va dire. Ce qui est un peu dommage, mais bon.
We thought you were staying on the Adirondack.
Transfer came in at the last minute, so I figured I'd slum it on this bucket of bolts. Looks like you got her back together pretty nicely. I wasn't sure what to expect.
I'm gonna take the high road here, pretend you didn't say that, and welcome you aboard.
He's a better diplomat than I am.
He still owes me a bottle of Saurian brandy. Don't think I forgot.
Oh yeah, it's coming back to me now.
Maybe Carter can rustle up that bottle and we can give you a proper welcome. As soon as we wrap up this quick little spacewalk.
Here, let me help you.
Thanks.
So what's the word? Are you back in the security rotation?
Yep. Still running with the usual suspects.
Whoa.
Good to go.
L'écriture, pour le moment, on peut le dire, ils se sont bien appliqués.
See you on the other side.
Activating magnetic souls.
Le gameplay est comme je m'y attendais. Botte magnétique, donc on va être dans l'espace. Ça c'est plutôt cool.
Let's go.
Wow.
Captain Solano should be here momentarily.
Alors les transitions, je dois avouer que la transition me rappelle vraiment des jeux PlayStation.
You'll have to forgive
Mais dans
me,
le bon
I
sens,
don't know
c'est-à-dire
much
qu'il
about
y a beaucoup de
Kobayas,
nostalgie là.
But my understanding is you need a steady supply of duridium to keep your cell structure stabilized.
Ou ce qu'on peut avoir aussi
Bad
dans une
things
série
start to
TV.
happen. And we have plenty of duridium in sickbay,
En tout
so
cas,
there's
c'est une
no
très bonne
risk of
idée.
running out.
Thank you.
Feel free to make yourself at home. And help yourself to whatever you like from the replicator.
Le reflet, ça c'est vraiment chouette. Hein. Il y a vraiment des très très bonnes choses en fait. Certes, ils ont un moteur qui est, je pense, maison. On va regarder vite fait. Mais il y a quand même de très très bonnes choses. Est-ce qu'on peut voir mon reflet?
We'll be out there soon.
Ah, c'est que pendant les
Going where no one
cinématiques
has gone
apparemment.
before.
Dommage. Il n'y a pas de RTX, il n'y a pas de choses comme ça, donc c'est vrai que c'est un petit peu dommage, on va dire.
He's still got a thing for trains. The warp engines of their day, apparently. Just a sip of something. Rack the Geno. That sure has a kick.
Jara Ryder. Last time I saw you, it was graduation from the Academy. You'd already secured one of the most prestigious assignments possible. And you were burning with enough ambition to fuel 7 trips around the Necrit Expanse.
It's good to see you again, Captain.
I could not be happier to have you on the Resolute. My only regret is that we couldn't provide you with a warmer welcome. The arrival of a first officer to her new ship deserves a bit of fanfare. But, unfortunately, we've had our hands full with the refit.
You can spare me the pomp and circumstance. There's plenty of work to be done without all that.
You always had a work ethic like nothing I'd ever seen. That's just what this ship needs at the moment. As I'm sure you've heard, we've had a rough go of it these last 6 months. The ship suffered some damage, but not nearly as much as the crew.
You'll have to forgive me. I don't really know the details.
Starfleet has been kind enough to keep the story contained. Probably because they want to protect me. But I don't mind telling you. We were on the verge of a major scientific breakthrough. A quantum leap forward in warp core technology. 10,000 teradynes per second. The ability to travel at a sustained rate of speed longer and faster than we ever dreamed. What would have been the crowning achievement of my career? Right there, within our grasp. Until it all went so horribly wrong. We pushed her too hard, and a warp core malfunction overloaded the system, creating a pressure gradient way beyond what the ship can handle. It was heartbreaking. We lost some of our best people. As captain, I have to take full responsibility. It was my decision to make, and I have to live with the consequences.
You have to look to the future. You can't dwell on the past, on things you can't change.
There's nothing that can be done about it now. In my defense, I will say, I might have avoided the whole ordeal if my senior staff had been willing to trust me. There was a lot of pushback from my former XO, and I think that cost me his confidence. I don't want you to pull any punches. Certainly not on my account. But once we decide on a course of action, I need everyone to fully commit to the mission. Anything short of that just won't work. And that's when things start to go sideways.
Whether I agree or disagree, I can promise that I'll be honest to a fault.
Good. That's exactly what I'm looking for. But at the end of the day, it has to be my call. Look, I'll be blunt. We can't afford another mistake. Or at least, I can't. I feel like my career is hanging in the balance here. We need a win. Something to restore the crew's confidence.
I understand.
On a more positive note, Starfleet has tasked us with what they're calling a mission of the highest priority. Escorting a senior diplomat to Hotari space. Two previously peaceful and otherwise non-aggressive civilizations now find themselves on the brink of all-out war.
So it's a peacekeeping mission.
I see it as a golden opportunity to not only prove what the Resolute and her crew are truly capable of, but also a mission for which we're uniquely qualified. This ionic storm. Our long-range sensors suggest it's several orders of magnitude stronger than anything on record. A total anomaly like nothing we've seen before. You'll never guess where it leads.
Hotari.
Exactly. Very nearly in the precise location where we're headed. Where I imagine the interference will be exponentially greater. But the diplomat will brief us on the details of the rendezvous.
So basically, we're being sent into the eye of a storm, more powerful than anything on record.
Well, yes. But we're taking every precaution. But I don't want to get ahead of myself. I expect we'll have some rough sledding when we arrive, so I need you to prepare the crew for the worst. There's just one more thing I want to clarify up front. The metric that for me will be the ultimate measure of your success.
What is it?
If after serving as my first officer, you don't one day find yourself with a ship of your own, then I will consider it my personal failure. When that might happen is entirely up to you. But it goes without saying, you have my full support.
It's been a dream of mine since before I can remember. So I would be honored to become a captain someday.
As long as you're willing to do the work, you have my promise. I'll do everything in my power to see that it happens.
Thank you.
Come. Let me introduce you to the crew.
C'est marrant, il m'a fait penser à Johnson dans Spider-Man. Oh.
Everyone, if I could have your attention for a moment. I'd like to introduce Commander Jara Rydek, our new first officer. Some quick introductions. This is Lieutenant Handar, our helmsman, of the best in the business.
One of?
Well, what he lacks in humility, he more than makes up for in ability.
A pleasure to meet you, Commander.
Likewise.
Next, we have Commander Westbrook, our Chief Science Officer. I've come to rely on his expert counsel on a regular basis.
Pleasure.
Commander Rydek, it is such an honor to meet you.
This is our Tactical Officer, Lieutenant Bedrosian, who's been looking forward to meeting you for about as long as I can remember.
I've been following your career for quite some time. And I look forward to learning as much as I can from you.
If anything, the honor is mine.
Well, I have to admit, one of the reasons I've followed your career is because you're part Kobliad, because of what you've overcome. Starfleet stands up for people who can't defend themselves, and you were one of those people once. But since then, you've done so much to protect others who need it. I really admire that. So, you've been something of an inspiration to me. Not that I've done anything close to what you've done, but you definitely set a standard to strive for.
That's very kind of you to say, but enough about me. We have a lot of work to do.
Oh, yes, of course.
And then, of course, you've already met Commander Ermont. Please, do everything you can to make Commander Rydek feel at home here. I'll be on the starbase. Have an urgent meeting with the starbase commander to get our authorization to get underway. If they drag their feet any longer, we won't make our rendezvous. The bridge is yours.
S'asseoir dans le fauteuil du capitaine une fois près. Ouais, c'est cool, hein, vraiment.
The helm. The Resolute is a refitted Centaur class, meaning it's capable of quick maneuvers. Can't wait to see what she can do. Operations. Staffing, supplies. There's a lot to keep track of on a starship. Good thing we have Commander Ermont. Communications. Keeps us in contact internally and with other vessels.
Ok, chaque...
Tactical station. Hopefully a diplomatic mission won't require we use our weapons much. But if it comes to that, we'll be ready. Science station. The Resolute is a science vessel, primarily. Might explain Commander Westbrook's attitude. I'll have to speak with him later.
Bon. Du coup...
The first officer seat. My seat. Right now, though, I need to fill in for Captain Solano.
Commander, Chief Engineer Chovak needs to lower the structural integrity field. He's sent a crew out to recalibrate the emitters in response to the danger posed by the storm. We just need your go-ahead.
Permission granted.
Lowering structural integrity field, now.
Entering maintenance mode. Condition blue.
The storm is getting worse.
Looks like they turned off the SIF.
Great. Let's get to that emitter.
Ça, c'est plutôt chouette parce que là, on ressent carrément dans la façon dont on appuie sur la touche la gravité.
Every time we're out here.
On devrait être en gravité 0, mais j'imagine qu'il y a les bottes magnétiques créent une certaine, un certain champ, on va dire.
But this isn't exactly how I pictured it.
On the outside of the ship?
No. Sometimes it feels like we're just part of the machinery. Don't you want more than that? I mean, Starfleet is noble and all, but it's still a machine. A massive, massive machine.
Yeah, of course I do. Starfleet's an open door. We just have to walk through it. You wanted to get away. I enlisted because I didn't want to wait years just to get out and see the galaxy. I wanted to go somewhere. See new worlds. Look up at a sky no one's ever seen before. Just because I'm cranking a hyperspanner up in a Jeffries tube today doesn't mean that's all I'll ever be. Diaz to Commander Chovak. We are at the Sif emitter.
Acknowledged. You may proceed with the recalibration.
Ok, donc ça c'est les trucs assez classiques. Alors, équilibrage.
Beginning recalibration.
Careful. Too much action and harmonics will deflect the alignment.
Attends, peut-être que je bouge ça. Oh, voilà. Ah, pas mal. Attends. Ok.
Looks good. That wasn't so hard.
Commander Westbrook, right? Chief Science Officer.
You remembered my name and my rank. Impressive. Yes, I'm the Chief Science Officer, and I have the dubious honor of being the most senior officer on this bridge. I know this ship inside and out. Better than just about anyone.
Well, I'm so glad you said that. Now I know exactly who to turn to when I have questions.
Questions are more Commander Ermont's territory. Captain Solano primarily relies on my knowledge and expertise when he needs answers. I'm curious, though. A Kobliad, or half in your case, is an odd choice for First Officer, given your vulnerable condition and all. But if, as an example, we found ourselves in a hostile situation, and you were suddenly incapacitated because you needed an infusion, what would happen then? You'd leave Captain Solano without an XO. Granted, that would be a worst-case scenario, but not outside the realm of possibility.
That's very kind of you to be concerned about my well-being. But you don't need to trouble yourself on my account. I'll be fine.
Well, I wouldn't say I was concerned, just curious, that's all. Listen, can I be blunt, Commander?
I see no reason to stop now.
Commander Sutherland, your predecessor, was one of the best first officers in all of Starfleet. His record was impeccable and his reputation was without equal. I mean no disrespect, but the shoes you're stepping into are almost impossible to fill. He was loved by the crew. And he was one of my closest friends. So I can only hope that you'll live up to expectations.
Mr. Westbrook, if you have some kind of problem with me, and you just met me so it has nothing to do with me, you're gonna have to figure out how to get over it. Because I'm here, and I'm not going anywhere. Do you read me?
Loud and clear. I'll stick to science. That is what this ship is for.
Very well.
Seeing as Captain Solano is on the starbase, let me give you an update on this ion storm we're flying into. It's unusual, unlike anything I've ever seen. At the moment, I can't tell you if the Resolute will shrug it off or if we're putting ourselves at risk. However, if we learn more about its patterns, its nature, we can come up with a scientific countermeasure. Just a moment.
We've got a massive energy wave inbound.
On screen.
Tracing its trajectory.
Starbase docking clamps are holding.
The storm's emissions are fluctuating, coming in waves. And if my projections are right, we're about to get hit by a wideband burst of ionic energy, like a tsunami.
Oh, il dit que la verte est arrivée.
Estimated time to impact.
Red alert!
Aye. Evacuating main gangway and retracting.
Putting sensor visualization on screen.
With the structural integrity field shut down, we can't take a direct hit.
Time to impact. 1 minute.
Shield systems are severely impacted. We have limited protection.
I need every available solution. What are our options?
We can weaken the impact of the storm with a deflector pulse.
There's a better way.
I'm sending all auxiliary power to the deflector dish.
Send the aux power to the shields. We can't reactivate the entire shield bubble, but it's a directional threat. So we can orient all we have towards the wave. You have to believe me.
We only get one shot at this. We can't afford to get it wrong.
That's right. Which is why we need to send power to our shields.
Allez.
Petrosian, get those shields up.
Rerouting power to shields. Stand by. I need a heading. We've only got one shot.
Understood. On
Les
my
deux
command.
choix sont les bons, je pense.
Heading locked.
Raise shields.
This is it.
All hands, brace for impact.
What happened?
We have experienced a surge of radiation.
Oh, you don't say.
This radiation supercharged the plasma, forcing it to backflush through the system and creating a dangerous imbalance.
And you blow out every primary system on the ship.
Just tell us where you need us.
I need you to traverse the hull to the access port to recalibrate the port nacelle plasma regulator.
We've reached the first access point.
Understood. Do you see the override for the level 1 failsafe circuits?
Affirmative.
Engage the override. It should allow us to stop the EPS flow to the warp engine without triggering an automatic core shutdown.
Failsafe override engaged.
Are you sure? I am registering some crosstalk in the bypass circuit.
We need to route the signals so they don't interfere with each other.
Diaz to Resolute. The failsafes are temporarily disabled. Moving on to the EPS regulator.
Heads up, Carter.
What is that?
One of the discharges coalesced.
It's coming right toward us. I'm gonna try to disrupt it with my phaser.
Ok, bon. Ouais, c'est pas mal. En vrai, je m'attendais à pire.
So we gotta climb up the pylon. Not that there's really an up, but you know.
We're at the regulator. Opening the access panel.
And now halting the EPS flow to the port nacelle, we have little time before it causes an overload in the engine. You must work efficiently.
de la QTE, ultra classique. D'accord, le blanc, on va le mettre comme ça. Non.
The EPS lines to the port warp engine are back in balance. Almost done. Once I cycle the manifold nozzles, Chovak can... too. We can't finish the EPS regulation in these conditions. Please advise.
We have to release the ship from that other docking clamp or the hull will be ripped apart.
There's a problem. The clamps are supposed to disengage automatically in an emergency, but it's not working.
Not working?
What are our options?
The docking clamps are fitted with exploding bolts for an emergency release.
We've got crew out there. That'd be like setting off a bomb next to them.
Maybe there's another way.
Starbase is hailing us.
Put him through.
Resolute, the remaining mooring arm is failing. You need to disengage from the starbase now. The damage to the station will be catastrophic.
All right, Starbase, we're on it.
Acknowledged.
Commander, hear me out. Reverse the polarity of the hull, which theoretically will repel the docking clamps.
And repel the engineering crew right off the hull into the storm.
This is Captain Solano. Put me on screen.
Go ahead. Captain, we have a situation.
Commander, what are you doing? Blow the bolts on the docking clamp.
The captain doesn't know the whole story.
I'm giving you an order. Chara?
Captain, you brought me here because you trusted me. Can you trust me now?
You better be sure you make the right decision.
The captain made himself quite clear.
They're gonna get hammered with debris out there. Reverse the polarity.
There is protocol.
And there are lives.
What is the holdup?
Okay.
We're going to blow the bolts. Starbase, stand by. We'll warn our crew to take cover.
Get it done, Rydek.
Repair crew, this is Acting Captain Jara Rydek. Be advised, you have more micro debris incoming. Find cover.
Cover? Nilly! Get under the access panel. It's armored with duranium.
But what about you?
Carter, maybe we can both fit behind this.
Ça fera l'affaire. Allez.
They've blown the other docking clamp. Hurry!
Critical condition. We are moments from primary system failure.
I got it. just... I'm gonna have to tow her back to the airlock.
Mr. Diaz, the situation has changed. You are at risk of triggering a substantial electromagnetic arc if you approach the main hull the way you came.
Commander, the way we came is the nearest airlock.
There is an auxiliary hatch near you on the far end of the pylon. You must bring Miss Edsolar there to access the interior.
Roger that. Going there now. I'm at the auxiliary hatch.
You go first.
What?
Let me save your neck this time. No time to fight me on this. Get in there.
Not on your life.
Let's not let it come down to that.
Les radiations.
We made it.
They're safe, bringing the Sif fully online.
Do it.
J'imagine qu'il va vous de dire nous l'avons fait. La traduction dit nous l'avons créé, ce qui est assez.
Nilly.
I'm good. Help me with him.
Let's get this off. Medical. Got one wounded at my location. Carter. You don't look so good. You gotta be more careful. I just got here. I'm not ready to see you two get blown to space dust just yet. Now let's get you down to sickbay.
Great.
Status report.
The repair crew made it inside. EPS flow is back to nominal levels. The Sif is back up.
How does this affect mission readiness, Mr. Ermont?
The Resolute suffered damage from the exploding bolts. But we've successfully moored to the station. The ship is secure. Our systems are coming back online, but we have a fair amount of repairs before we're ready to go.
Put a halt on the roll-off of Starbase engineering staff. We have a schedule to keep. Send updates to my ready room. Commander Rydek, with me. What a debacle. I was caught with my pants down. Not even on my own ship when the wave hit. I had to go running out of the Starbase commander's office just to... But you followed my order. I appreciate that. Hell, I'm relieved.
I did it because it was the right thing to do at the time. It's protocol for a reason.
That doesn't make this better, Jara. But you see my problem, don't you? They They were all against me on that bridge. And they were ready to go against my orders. I'm not blind to it.
If there are any problems, I'll keep them in line.
At least I can count on you. Oh. Drink?
No. Thank you.
Your predecessor, Commander Sutherland, is missed. But for all the adoration of the crew, including the senior staff, I just couldn't rely on him. He would question, undermine me in front of the crew. I sometimes think they still hear his voice. That sort of thing is a way of lingering. And you can't argue with a ghost.
Captain, perhaps you and the crew would be better served if you look at this mission as a fresh start.
You can never really leave the past behind.
If we don't, you can never move forward.
Now, this won't be easy. But I'm glad I have you here with me.
Glad to be here, Captain.
And despite it all, we got our final Starfleet clearance to depart. So if you'll fetch Mr. Ermot, we'll knock out the final details of any outstanding repairs, and then we'll set out for Hotari.
Yes, sir.